Okay, so wholesale lease option, just to break down what that actually means. First off, we don't do a lot of that. We actually haven't done, I think we've done maybe one or attempted to do one of those, simply because there's not as many of them available. But basically, if I'm understanding your question, a lease option is kind of like, essentially, I'm going to be a quote unquote investor, but I'm also going to be a quote unquote tenant essentially of the property. I'm going to pay a certain amount to the seller to cover the obligation that they have financially to pay their mortgage, or if they don't have a mortgage, they're just going to collect basically rent from me, and then have an option later on to actually buy the house for a certain price that we predetermine today. So let's say, for instance, we think the house is going to be worth $300,000 a year from now. I could have a lease option for, let's say, $250 or $200 or whatever number we come up with that's less than what it's going to be worth. If it makes sense for me, okay? If it makes sense for me, I'm going to go ahead and put that property under contract with a lease option that says, okay, I'm going to pay you, let's say, $1,000 a month or whatever the number is for the next year, and I have an option to buy it a year from now for $250 when I know it's going to be worth more than $250. And to do that option, I'm going to put down a certain amount of money to lock up the deal right now. I'll put down $1,000 or $5,000. What I could do with that is I can actually sell that lease option to somebody else that wants to take on that deal. Someone who wants to rent out the house, they want to, let's say, sublet it to somebody else, or someone that wants to rehab the house for the next, let's say, 12 months. They don't need financing now because guess what? The finance is in place through the lease option. If I can line up an investor, that gives me control of the property. When I put that property under contract with that lease option, I have control of what's called equitable interest in the deal. Once I have equitable interest in the deal, I can then go ahead and wholesale that deal potentially to somebody else. I can say, hey, you know what, Mike? I got this deal. Here's the deal. It's $1,000. I need $5,000 now. I need $10,000 now. Whatever you decide. Let's say I need 10 grand now. Mike's gonna pay me 9 grand for this deal. Mike's gonna get the deal. He's gonna pay me 9 grand now on top of what I'm already making, what I'm paying the seller, and then basically he's gonna give me another $500 a month. So give me $1,500 a month as opposed to $1,000 I'm giving to the seller. So he's actually paying me now $9,000 plus another $500 a month. And for that deal, he's allowed to go into that house and start working on it, doing different things, depending on, again, you have to check with your attorneys, check with your people you're working with in your local area. But I know it happens, I know it works. We haven't done it ourselves, but I know it's there and it's possible to do it. And at the time when he's done with that rehab project, when he's already paid me the 12 months of $1,500 a month, I'm essentially financing it, but essentially the seller is financing it through me, though, as the investor that found the deal. Kind of complicated. That's actually a sandwich lease option, technically. Okay, that's where you have two lease options put in place together. But essentially, you could just wholesale. I could just say, hey, listen, man, I got this deal here. It's $1,000 now, and it's $1,000 every month, and it's gonna be $250 when you're done. Give me 9 grand for it now, and I just get out of the deal. Or I could say, I'm gonna sandwich that and say, I'm gonna give you 9 grand now, Mike. Mike's gonna give me 9 grand now, and I'm gonna get $500 more a month, and I'm gonna get $275 as opposed to $250. So now he buys it from me for $275. I first buy it from the seller for $250. Guess what? Now we're getting paid now, we're getting paid during the process, and we're getting paid on the end. Getting paid 3 times, guys. That's pretty exciting stuff. So he's gonna be rehabbing the house, let's say, or he's gonna be renting it out possibly, whatever he's deciding to do. But he's getting into the house for 10 grand, and his financing cost is extremely low because his options are to go get a mortgage, which we know might not be easy, might not be quick enough, might not be a lot of different things, or he's gonna have to raise money or get financing through a hard money company. He's gonna pay a lot more than what he's gonna be paying for that particular deal on an ongoing basis. So there's all different ways of structuring stuff, guys. The bottom line is creative financing is definitely a powerful area to be if you know what you're doing. That's definitely more of what we're gonna start doing in our business as well. We understand the wholesale business inside and out. We know all the legalities, all the different ways of making deals happen. We are evolving into more creative financing deals, and so, you know, that's that very good question, very, very pointed question.